Copshop. The film opens in Nevada, where rookie cop Valerie Young, Alexis Louder, is called to respond to a disturbance. At the same time, a man, Teddy Moretto, Frank Grillo, leaves the scene of a car wreck. Upon arriving at the scene, Young attempts to defuse the situation, and then Moretto comes out of nowhere and sucker punches her. Officers tase Moretto as he openly asks to be arrested. Moretto is taken down to the station and is locked up. Elsewhere, a hitman, Bob Vidic, Gerard Butler, is picked up from a wreck after it is reported that the lawyer has been murdered. Vidic is locked up in a cell across from Moretto, who is demanding that authorities go check on his ex and her son. Moretto is not happy to see Vidic, as he knows Vidic is there to kill him. Meanwhile, an officer in the station, Huber, Ryan Onan, gets a text from a secret employer asking what happened to their supply of coke. Vidic is stuck in a cell with a drunk guy who annoys him because he keeps responding to everything with huh. He waits as the phone that was confiscated off of him starts to emit smoke. As the alarms go off, Vidic violently attacks the drunk man and starts causing him to choke on his own blood before he gets his cell door open, grabbing a gun and firing off at Moretto. Other officers hear the shots and go to subdue Vidic, give medical attention to the drunk, and tend to Moretto. Young asks Moretto who he really is and why Vidic is trying to kill him. He explains that he is something of a fixer, though he hates that term, for people in government involved in shady businesses. He recently screwed over the people who hired him by stealing their money and destroying their drug shipment, the same coke Huber was questioned for, so he knows that Vidic was hired to go after him. Elsewhere in the station, Huber's contact, a far more insane contract killer named Anthony Lamb, Toby Huss, arrives in disguise and proceeds to shoot at several officers. This forces Huber to turn on his colleagues and go through with their plan, as Lamb is there to kill Moretto as well. After killing a slew of cops, Lamb makes his way to the cells using a machine gun. Young attempts to take him down, but also has to hide behind the bulletproof glass to avoid the thunderous gunfire. Lamb eventually runs out of ammo, and Valerie tries to fire her gun at him, but misses before hiding back in the cells. Young discovers she's accidentally been shot by her own bullet that ricocheted in her attempt to hit Lamb. She knows she is bleeding out and might not easily make it to get the trauma kit she needs. Lamb and Huber then begin trying to smash the wall into the cell down with a sledgehammer. Moretto and Vidic both argue for why they should be let go, but Young obviously trusts neither of them. She eventually relents and frees Moretto and even gives him her gun. However, when the question about whether or not he will return with the trauma kit comes up, Vidic tells Young he clearly isn't and then forces Valerie to admit that they knew earlier that Moretto's ex and her son were already murdered by Lamb. Moretto exits the cell and seems to suggest he'll get the kit. Lamb and Huber are faced by two other officers. Lamb shoots and kills one and orders Huber to kill the other. Huber hesitates but pulls the trigger after being frightened when Moretto comes out yelling and firing his gun. Lamb hides but Huber gets shot in both legs and gets tased in the bullet wounds by Moretto. Vidic manages to uncuff himself from his cell even as Young protests, but he seems more willing to help her. Lamb attempts to get Moretto, firing at a figure that he sees standing ahead of him, but it turns out he just killed Huber. Vidic comes out and shoots Lamb down, but Moretto shoots Vidic. Moretto finishes Lamb as he is rambling on. Moretto then sets fire to the station and goes to the kitchen to get food. He notices the trauma kit open next to him and finds Young having taken care of her wound. She knows now that Vidic was right about Moretto, and they get into a standoff. After exchanging gunfire, Young uses the bullet she dug out of herself and places it into her gun and fires off a shot that takes Moretto down just as he attempts to make a run for it. Before Young can finish off Moretto, she gets shot by another killer in the station, but that one gets taken out by Vidic. Moretto realizes he is screwed and then gets executed by Vidic, who takes a bag with him and steals a car just as medics arrive. Vidic contacts his employer and reports that he killed Moretto and is even bringing back Lamb's head. Young is being taken to the hospital, but she orders the medics to pull over so she can take the ambulance. She heads off to pursue Vidic. The two of them turn on the radio, both playing the exact same song and singing along to it. A government fixer con artist named Teddy Moretto intentionally gets himself arrested by punching Officer Valerie Young in the face. He is on the run from hitman Bob Vidic, hired by Moretto's original employers for screwing them over. At the station, another killer named Anthony Lamb makes a play for Moretto's head as well, killing all the cops in the station, except for Young and a traitorous inside man named Huber. After Young accidentally gets shot, she reluctantly allows Moretto to go out with her gun to retrieve a trauma kit. However, after Vidic forces Young to reveal that they knew a while ago that Moretto's ex and her son have been murdered, Moretto goes off on his own terms. He shoots at Lamb and Huber as they try to break into the cell. Vidic escapes his cell and goes after Moretto. Lamb accidentally kills Huber and Moretto kills Lamb and seemingly kills Vidic. Young manages to patch herself up and goes after Moretto. She nearly kills him until she is incapacitated by another killer, who is then killed by Vidic. He executes Moretto and takes off. Medics come for Young, but she takes over an ambulance to pursue Vidic herself.